Well, the first advantage to using a drone for agriculture is cost. Because we don't have to use a manned aircraft or use a manned helicopter to obtain these images, the cost to obtain the imagery is much lower. Additionally, our accuracy is much higher than any manned aircraft or satellite can produce. We are typically getting anywhere between 2 and 3 centimeters per pixel for our images. How that translates into the agriculture is we are able to identify plant and disease stresses down to the plant and down to each individual plant. We'll set up our flight program here, and once that's ready to go, then I'll get an okay from my operations manager that we can go out and we can start the launch process. Once I've got that okay, I'll walk out into the launch field and we'll be holding the EB, and I'll wait for my pilot to give me the okay to start. Once he gives me the okay to start, I'm going to shake the craft. The craft will automatically start. Once it automatically starts, it's going to go through a whole bunch of pre-flight checks that are all done on board. Once all those pre-flight checks are completed, the pilot will radio to me and tell me that we're okay to launch. Once we know that we're okay to launch, then that's my cue. I'll literally take a couple steps and I'll hand launch it forward, and it will go up at about 20 degrees until it hits about 75 meters. Once it hits about 75 meters, it'll start to do circles. We'll just hover that point until we tell it otherwise. One of the other advantages of using drones for agriculture is the time advantage that it gives to growers. So using drones, growers are typically able to identify issues with their crops, whether it's diseases or pests, 2 to 3 weeks before they're actually visible to the naked eye. So a grower can get a jump on solving those issues. As well, the other advantage is we're able to create prescriptions for precision agriculture and variable rate applicators. And what that allows us to do is to pick and choose where the grower wants to apply their chemicals in order to maximize the value of the crops that they're producing.
We use a fixed wing for two purposes. It's able to stay in the air for up to 45 minutes, where most quadcopters, the batteries only last 15 to 20 minutes. And also with a fixed wing, we cover a lot more ground in a very short period of time. We fly anywhere between 50 to 90 kilometers an hour, and it allows us to cover 600 acres in about an hour's time. I definitely see this market expanding more. There's more regulations coming in place. A lot of people are hesitant just because UAVs are so new. Regulations are new. They're not sure about what they can do. As technologies mature and the costs come down, there's definitely going to be more players in the marketplace.
Once we've got this map, we then turn that into a digital file that goes onto a USB stick. That USB stick goes right into the tractor, right into your John Deere, and you beep, 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 and let it run itself. Most of the growers and farmers that we've talked to are extremely excited by the prospect of what we're doing. They've heard anecdotally through their friends and family about how drones are being used in agriculture. They can go onto the internet and see all kinds of stories about how the United States is starting to issue more clearances to use drones for agriculture, and that there is a benefit that they would be able to use that data to generate greater returns for the family farm. Some of the growers that we have come in contact with have been a little bit skeptical in that there is still some effort that needs to be done to tie the results from a drone to the current offering of variable rate technologies through the different tractor organizations and different farming equipment organizations, and tying those together into a product that the farmer can trust. And while we are able to tie those products together now, the next step is proving that the farmers can trust it. I see the drone agriculture market taking off, literally, no pun intended, taking off in the next 2 to 3 years. More and more growers are becoming aware that they can use this technology, that it has an immense cost benefit to their operation, and that they can see immediate returns on their investment. However, I do see that growers will opt to hire a service to gather that data as opposed to purchasing their own drone and running it, strictly because of cost. And running drones typically isn't their core business. And so where I see it is farmers still using the data, still gathering the data, but that process gets outsourced to a third party.